Happy Friday, folks. Welcome to EJR Racing. It is Friday morning for me. I mean, it's morning pretty much everywhere in the United States, but it's 10 a.m. here. I don't know about you guys what your sleep schedule is, but I can tell you that I am a night owl, which is why I might as well get out of the way. I am doing 2 streams a day now. That will be Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time and 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So tonight I'll be live again at 10:30, and yeah. Oh boy. So I'm actually still waking up because I'm a tired old soul that wakes up late. But today we're going to be doing some testing in AMS2, Automobilista. Come on, stream. I don't know why YouTube falls behind. So I've been playing YouTube in the background the entire time, and for some reason it just trails behind. So I actually think I have to wonder if playback speed on YouTube is like 0.9 of real speed, because it doesn't make sense that it's constantly falling behind. Right now I just moved the slider up to catch it up to live, and then as time goes by it will slowly fall back. It's very strange. It's very strange. What's going on, Mr. Joseph? How you doing? Happy Friday. Are you going to be playing anything tonight, or are you fiddle fucking with the bike? I also got to practice swearing less too for live streams. Swearing hurts live streams pretty bad. Notification came through. Good. So anybody who does see this later on, make sure that if you do want to get notified of this stuff, that you hit the bell icon, because one thing I noticed that YouTube is not doing on its own, because this is very different content from what this channel was built around. So it's from a projection standpoint, it's taken off quite a bit slower. So of the 25,000 people that get subscribed, in total, the last live stream only notified 700 people total. So if you think about that, 25,000 people have subscribed, 700 get notified from YouTube, and that is non-subscribers as well. So there's not a whole lot of, pushing this towards people, and that's kind of what YouTube's got. A lot of weird algorithm issues. Unfortunately for me, it's like the holy grail of content creation, I guess you could call it. I don't do TikTok. I don't do Facebook. I have a couple group pages on Facebook, but like, if it were up to me, I wouldn't even have Facebook, to be completely honest with you. I've considered doing some Twitch streaming as well, multi-streaming, not abandoning YouTube. But I don't know if I like Twitch from a dramatic standpoint, if that makes any sense. I know it doesn't matter, but because I stay out of all that stuff. That being said, though, like, I just think it's a pretty, I hate to use the word toxic, but a pretty toxic system they have over there. So I'm sure YouTube has its demons as well, for sure, but it's at least not so as often. Anyway, so today what we're going to be doing, we're going to be playing some AMS2, and we're going to be comparing my driving skills with the round wheel and the H pattern, which, by the way, if you notice, I moved the camera around a little bit so you can see the shifter. Now, some people might appreciate that. Most probably won't give a shit. But now you can actually see me move the H pattern. So the plan is to compare round wheel and H pattern with the same cars and track to my formula wheel, or race wheel, whichever you want to call it, really. And I'm going to be using the paddles on this one. So I know for a fact, with a little bit of time, this will always be the faster method of racing. That's why everybody uses these kind of wheels. They're shorter. So this is a 300 millimeter width and paddles, obviously. And the round wheel's 330 millimeters. So that 30 millimeters alone, just in reaction time, when your grip is spread like that, you have more leverage on the bigger wheel. So you have more control, but things ultimately are slower when you have to snap react because you have to move more to get to the same point. So that being said, we're going to see how close I get with the round wheel to the race wheel. So you're going IRL racing tonight? I can't say I miss IRL racing, if I'm being honest with you. Don't get me wrong, with some time, there will be a scratch, or sorry, an itch that I need to scratch when it comes to real racing, but I'm definitely in for the long winter here, even though it's not a long winter here. It's a very short winter. But I'm here for the cold weather and not looking at bikes and stuff like that. I will, pick that stuff up in the future, but for now I'm focusing mostly on the content creation side of things because, well, this is job numero 2. Final drop, secret lab for Automobile Lamborghini. Lamborghini, eh? Secret Lab makes seats chairs and desks. And I just got to notify that they got a new Lamborghini one out there. So, Joe, you got any races lined up, or are you just going out there to test the ECUs? And like I said, both ECUs are the exact same file, so I would say use the newer one, the 17KN0, just because it's a newer ECU. But like I said, I have rarely seen an ECU fail. So corrupt files like yours had, I've seen that happen. I've seen it happen with Booses. Never happened with Kawasaki's, but I have seen it happen with Booses, where even reflashing the same file for some reason doesn't make the corruption go away because the corruption is in the code. So basically starting with a new file completely and then just copy and pasting every map from your file to that new file usually seems to fix the corruption. So how it happens, I have no idea, but I've seen it a couple times. So truth be told, I mean, monitor the ECU, make sure it doesn't happen. But what I think probably happened is that it was corrupt from the get-go, from the last time we had tuned the bike, and you just started noticing the problem more and more with time. The problem didn't get worse because ECUs are absolute, meaning they don't change. So once the code is there, the code doesn't change, it doesn't adapt. And the only way your bike would start doing things differently over time with the ECU is if the code in the ECU changed. But because that doesn't happen, that usually means something has to change on the bike. Anyway, so that being said, I would check, but I'm pretty confident if the problem is not happening right now, it's never going to happen with the ECU. Because rewriting files doesn't fix mechanical issues with the ECU. No software or firmware in this case ever will fix a hardware issue, unless, or I should say, a mechanical issue. Now, it could make it so that the initial programming was incorrect. That's causing a hardware issue, but it doesn't just change over time. Hardware changes. That being said, going to use the new one, but I have an ECU for you to put a pump tune on now. Yes, you do. Boom. I will say this new Simagic Wheelbase has a real satisfying snap-on. You can actually see it in the camera. It shakes the whole thing. All right, so I guess we'll get into some driving. I definitely need to warm up a little bit first because I am stiff right now. Pause. Probably should have done some stretching because I will say, sitting in a chair, even if the chair is comfortable, staying in one position for too many hours, shit just hurts. You know, I get lots of back pain, but it's like usually mid-back pain, which is strange. But my last stream hurt my back pretty good, and I did have to move the pedals and wheelbase around. So I actually moved things a little closer because one thing about long-term sim racing, or any racing, but in this case I'm only sim racing, is you really want the wheel and the pedals closer to you, not to the point where you're cramped, but you don't want to be reaching. You don't want to be extending. You just want to be pivoting your ankles and operating pedals like this, and then turning very casually. You want your arms at like sort of like a 90. And I had just set this stuff up, and I put it a little too far back, and after a few hours, you do notice the fatigue. So let's see. I want to chat a little bit more first, or got to get back to it, buddy. Good luck. Appreciate it, sir, and good luck tonight. Yeah. Send a couple texts out here quick. All right. Oh, fun fact for those guys out there who are watching that are into video games. Yesterday, Grand Theft Auto 6 got delayed another 6 months. I'm convinced the game is fake, by the way. I don't think it's actually ever going to come out. So it was originally supposed to come out end of 2025, which is now. Then they delayed it to May 2026. Then we got to the 6-month mark, and then they delayed it to November of 2026. So I don't know if you all can look at a calendar, but that's a full year away now. And in that time frame, we have seen zero gameplay. So I'm convinced the game isn't actually real. It's just hype in a trailer. That would be one hell of a way to fucking keep people playing current Grand Theft Auto. That's just a silly conspiracy, though. But that being said, it would be funny if that was real. Oh, I know what I'm missing. I gotta get used to hitting play every time I start the stream. All right. Let's jump into it. Oh, gloves are over there. You need a fancy little phone mount, but the problem is that I've used my real estate here quite well when it comes to Extreme Deck camera, wheel, side monitor, stuff like that. So there's not a whole lot of like free eye space that I could put my phone in, other than just putting it down. All right, let's see. So I want to do this testing with the Viper because the Viper's a bit more stable than the Group C Sauber Mercedes, which is probably one. These are some of my favorite cars in this game, so I'm going to be using these to sort of test. But I'm very curious to see. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to do a few laps in each configuration, compare the fastest laps, and then compare the average laps, which I have to learn the UI of this a little bit more. I don't know how easy it is to see average laps, or all your laps, I should say. I think it only really shows you the fastest. But, all right, so first lap will be our warm-up lap since it's an out lap. The second lap will be our time lap, and then we'll switch wheels, and then we'll do 2 laps. I think that sounds right. So, here we go. How's everything sounding, by the way? And we haven't heard game audio yet, but it's coming. Oh, man. I'm going to start getting hot here soon. I can feel it. Spent some time configuring this wheelbase. Man, it's complex. I'll say that. All right, here we go. Let's start. Oh. It's a good thing it's an outlap. Probably should have grabbed second right there. That's where the paddles are a little bit easier, because I could have made the last minute decision to grab second, but because I have to take my hand off the wheel and move a shifter on the H-pattern configuration, it's not worth the time it takes to move my hand twice and how it compromises potential steering twice. I'll tell you, this warms you up quick. Hoodie's about to come off. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to finish this lap before I do that. Oh, terrible carousel performance, Evan. Good job. Brake too soon there. we get to this straight, I am taking the hoodie off. All right, so let's ditch this hoodie because it is warm. Oh, that is much better. All right. Back in position here. Time to do our lap. Here we go. Go. Lap time. Don't miss gears. Decent turn there. too soon there. Oh no! Terrible. That was a decent lap until that point. Oop. All right, where are we gonna land? The straight is so long in a car that tops out at about 180 or so. Woof. My God, fine third. That was rough. All right, 652. That was easily like probably a 645 to 648 lap if I didn't make the mistakes that I did, but one simple mistake that might not seem like too big a deal will cost you a lot in this. So now what we're going to do, we're going to pop this wheel off. We're going to go back to the pits for one. Pop this wheel off. And now we're going to the race wheel. Where are we at here? There it is. Not perfectly aligned. All right, here we go. Now we're doing the race wheel. First, we're going to do an out lap for warm-up, and then our second lap's going to be one that counts. So 652 is what we got to beat. 652.492. This time we're not using the H pattern, we're using the paddles. It's already so much easier. Yeah, shifting it through these turns, even though some of those shifts weren't necessary, I'm doing them because it does not affect the lap. Whereas if I was on the round wheel with the H pattern, I have to make physical movements that will absolutely hurt me. I gotta adjust the shift light on my wheel here. It's coming on a little too soon. Too wide. Alright, back straight. And then the next lap is our lap that counts. But real quick, I want to change my shift light on this wheel, because this wheel, they are independently controlled, the two wheels. The shift light's a little early on this one. I gotta tweak that quick. Alright, where is it again? Wheel. Light settings. Alright, so flash at 93%. Let's flash at 97%. See how that works. And let's turn this to nothing. That should work. Alright, let's see how that one feels. Alright, here we go. So even on our out lap, we already beat our round wheel time. So let's see if we can chop it down more with our warmed up lap. Came in way too hot. Way too hot. All right, here we go. Yeah, we know the lap time's not valid. I don't care. I'm just doing some experimenting. Oh my God. Get control. So fun fact, that first sector, we were faster with the round wheel. Now that could just be better, or dumb luck, or better driving, or perhaps I'm just better with the round wheel. I have spent more time on it since getting this wheelbase, I'll say that. Oh, terrible turn. Hello. I'll tell you, this wheelbase, I'm getting a bigger workout, that's for sure. Don't grab second there. That was a mistake. Grab second here. That was our best carousel yet today. Oh, hello. All right, back into the straight again. Let's just make sure we finish this lap smooth, and we'll be able to compare round wheel versus track wheel times. Oh. All right, so we did. We pause? Nope. All right, so we did 648. Actually works out perfect because the last two laps were invalidated due to my out lap hitting the wall, which invalidated the out lap, which I didn't care about, and the actual lap. But, so, round wheel and H pattern, we got 652, 592, and then the track wheel, or race wheel, or formula wheel, whatever you actually want to call it, we got 648.96. So, you're looking at 3.5 seconds, roughly. Now, I could definitely go faster with both wheels because mistakes were made on both comparisons, but the biggest reason why a wheel like this will help you go faster is the distraction of not having to think about moving your hand to catch, because a couple times I grabbed the wrong gears, you know, third instead of, or fifth instead of third, stuff like that. So just moving your fingers makes it a lot easier, and it doesn't, you can focus on, you know, doing a hot lap a little more aggressive rather than being a little more cautious coming into a turn because you got to take your hand off the wheel and you got to find a gear. That muscle memory helps that along in time, but at the end of the day, this will always be superior because it's just less the human mind has to do. Anyway, Nick says I'm cute. Thank you. So are you, sir. Distortion Gaming KC, morning. The Alpha EVO is no joke. I agree. It's I'm running the Pro right now. And it says it on the title. But running the Pro, I had a Logitech 11 Newton meter base before this, and this is surprisingly, obviously the 11 versus the 18 Newton meter isn't much of a conversation when it comes to, oh yeah, it's harder to turn at max versus max, duh. But where I think this wheelbase shines, being a new technology, and what this thing was hyped up about, was like, the best way I can explain the delivery of the force feedback is how sharp it is, meaning, so like, it's instantaneous, whereas like, it would almost, the best way analogy I could explain is that this delivers force feedback like a sharp knife, and the Logitech delivered force feedback like a butter knife. It was still there, it was just softer delivery of it. And you can control how aggressive that delivery is, but I'm actually turning off a lot of the features of this base that are particular to this base, where this thing can really shine, because it's just kind of too much. It's like being stabbed 100 times, basically. But this, I'm just using it in its raw, natural state, and I'm loving the way it feels. Pause. So as much fun as this wheel is to race, I feel like from an entertainment standpoint, from both myself and people watching, the round wheel with the H pattern just looks better. So this will be our grudge wheel when we care about, so when Project Motor Racing comes out, because that's, now, Project Motor Racing, it could be hit or miss. We can't put all our eggs in that basket, which is why I do like AMS2 as well. But where this game, from my understanding, is going to be very comparable to Project Motor Racing in terms of driving physics, at least from what the people that I follow have tested so far. So that's where this wheel is going to come in. But for now, back to the round. And I also, because I'm weird. Most people hate Alcantara wheels, or suede for the people who don't know what Alcantara is, or microfiber if you don't know what either one of those is. But this has a very this is supposed to be leather, but you can tell this is like a composite leather. It's not like a real leather or anything like that, where they've got a lot of plastic in this leather combination. I don't mind it. It's a great durability wheel in terms of like, anybody on here, bare hands, gloves, whatever, sandpaper for hands, you're never going to really dig through this thing. But it does leave me wanting, I'll say that. So I have an Alcantara replacement rim coming, and that will probably be my main, and this will be used for, like, you know, any guests or anybody who wants to jump on the sim, or the abuse wheel, essentially. So, check the phone quick. All right, so here we go. Back to it. What do we want to do now? Stop recording, because that'll be a video later for the tube of the U. Oh, Nick, you're adorable texting me. All right, so let's do this. The most fun I've had in this so far, GT7. GT7 is dead and buried, sir. I actually, fun fact, can't play Gran Turismo on a wheel anymore. This is not a PS5 compatible wheelbase. Hey, look, Nick. It's your favorite car. Hold on, let me get it on screen fully for you. So, here's another test we can do. A little personal test. I put all these challenges for entertainment purposes at my face. So, I'm going to do a lap with this car, and then I'll do a lap with the Sauber. Now, I'm a big fan of the Sauber. I love this car. They don't have the 787B, which to me is such a miss, because these are classics. Honestly, I would substitute the Porsche, the Corvette, in case for the 787B. Supposedly there is a mod for this game where you can swap the car out, but I don't care enough. This is a popular one, the Nissan, and then of course the Porsche and the Mercedes. So Nick, which car do you want me to take around the track first? The Sauber or the Porsche? I think I have more time on the Sauber driving it, but I think the Porsche is slightly easier to drive. Because if you notice now, I don't know how true to physics the specs of this is, but like, so the Porsche has got 710 horsepower and 2061 weight, and the Sauber is got 850 and 2175. So more power and more weight usually leads to a slightly more out of control car. Plus it's a flat 6 and that's a V8. So initial torque hit will probably be a little higher on this car. Take the Porsche first? Alright, Porsche it is. Remember, we're back to the H pattern life now. Because both of these cars are H patterns. So I'm trying to stay true to life here. Also, for those of you who are watching, please, if you want to get notified of this, subscribe and click the bell icon. The bell icon's the key for notifications. Because YouTube has not been promoting these lives at all because it's not the norm. Both gaming content and live, and because YouTube is very repetitive in terms of like you have to stay at the grind to be notified. So yeah, the bell icon, make sure it's got the big pulsing white bell emoji. That is the sign that you will get notified of these. Because so my last stream, I looked at the analytics of it, and of the 25,000 subscribers and all of the people on YouTube, it notified 700 people when I went live. So that's not good. And that 700 is everybody, not just subscribers. All right. Let's get into it. Here, let's go authentic too. There we go. Alright, cold tires on an out lap. Remember, first lap doesn't count. Warming up, warming the car up, getting used to the car. It's definitely a different feeling from the Viper, that's for sure. You can tell it's a lot looser. Older car. Technically, while it is a prototype, still old technology, so they don't really handle as comfortably as even the newer GT cars, or a 2005 GT car for that matter. But they handle very well for their time. Alright, so that's a fourth gear sector, not third. That's another thing about the out lap too. I always use the out lap to try and figure out what gearing I want to be on corner exits and entries. This car is definitely more stable than the Sauber, but that likely comes down to the fact that it's a 710 horsepower 6-cylinder versus an 850 horsepower 8-cylinder. I don't think I had to let out there. These cars turn so differently from the GTs. I was supposed to be fourth. Driving a little cautious. This lap doesn't count. I'm just trying to learn the turns with this car. Because no matter how well you know the track, you need lap time in a specific car. Second gear we'll try. Oh! Oh, fuck this up. I don't know what I was thinking there. I know better than that. That's a slower entry into second gear. I don't know what I was doing there. It's okay. This lap does not count. Yeah, this car does not put up the mile an hour of the Sauber. Sauber does about 208 to 210 in this straight, out the back end. All right. All right, here we go. We're going for the lap now. This is the one that counts. I don't know how I feel about that turn there. See, that's where the H pattern can mess you up. I was thinking about what gear I wanted to be in rather than focusing on entry speed. Remember, this time, fourth gear, not third. This time we gotta try and hold it through this turn here. To go wide. Got caught in the grass a little. I never know what gear I want to be in the carousel in the Group C cars. It's always first or second gear. But I play it safe in second in case I just get a little too much speed in there and have to shift mid-carousel. That's what you don't want. Oof. Yeah, see, that's where this wheelbase really shines over the Logitech. I'm getting force feedback from, like, the terrain in terms of, like, the bumps, the surface texture. There we go. Like, I can feel small bumps. It's pretty cool. They're not jarring to the point where they make it hard to drive, but it's just an extra level of detail that you didn't get with the Logitech. All right, be smart here, Evan. Slow speed, there you go. It's looking like it's going to be a fairly decent lap. I'm going to go ahead and guess 16s. 6 minutes and something in the teens. That's my guess. We'll see. This straight always is deceiving. You always think you're closer than you actually are. Look at that, 6:13. That might actually be faster than all of my Sauber laps. That's pretty good. I'm not complaining about that whatsoever. So we got 6:13.6. Remember that number, 6:13.6. Now what we do is we exit. I don't think I was showing my face that entire time. What a noob. Streaming is hard. All right, time to go to the Sauber. So I did 6:13 with the Porsche. I don't know if I've ever gone 6:13 in this car because the Porsche is a lot smoother. And although this car is faster, it's just more difficult to drive. So certain tracks, this car is definitely going to be the faster car. But before I get into this, I wanted to use the little boys' room. So I'll be right back. Whew, all right. Can't believe I'm gonna have my face shown that entire time. That was like 13 minutes of racing. And then I have my beautiful face on the screen. Oh, streaming is hard. Really not. The grind is difficult. Stretch the shoulders. All right. First gear. Here we go. All right, so remember, first lap is out lap. Doesn't count, just a warm up, warm the car up, warm myself up, get used to the car. And then second lap is the one where we're comparing. I don't know if I'm gonna go 6:13. That was very fast for these Group C cars. Oh, for me, anyway. I'm not talking worldwide. Car's on cold tires, so I gotta chill out a little bit. Tires do not help. Alright, Nick, I appreciate you watching and tuning in. Oh, don't look at Chad, Evan. Focus on the race. Back to driving, or used to driving this car again. God, helps to have the mic over here. Jesus. It's amazing how you can get used to a car that's like this and then switch to another car that's easier to drive, do a few laps on it, and then forget how to drive the harder to drive car. That's where I'm at right now. Oh. Too much speed into that turn there. Wow! Woo! Yeah. don't know how that invalidated this lap. I don't much trust the track officials in AMS. I'll say that. This car's a handful. Alright, here we go. This is the lap that counts here. So the time to beat for the Porsche is 6:13. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that. That was a mistake. That was a big mistake. Should not have downshifted there. I don't know why I did. This is where I was thinking I was at for some reason in my head, which is all downshifting. Can't be doing stuff like that if I want to beat the Porsche time, which I don't think I'm gonna. Oh. Well. That invalidated this lap, but I don't care. We're still going to compare it. we gonna do? No way. No way we're being 613. Six 11-3 and a smash at the end for good luck. Holy moly. I did not think we were going to pull that off. So, I drove the Porsche better. Did 613. Then drove the Sauber a bit sloppily, if that's a word, and went 611. So, whew. I tell you this though, I'd rather drive the Sauber all day because it's just a fun car to drive. All right. Whew. Boy, all right. I need a quick lunch break, and by lunch, I mean a yogurt. Oh. All right. We're gonna do some racing now after I eat. So I'll be right back. Alrighty. What do I want to do for a race? Let's see. Now it's officially training time for Project Motor Racing. This is a tough one. Alright, let's do this. Select track. Max available. Actually, no. I want a better idea. Because Nürburgring is so fun and entertaining. Do 2 laps. 27 cars on the grid. I'm in last place. Let's race to the finish. I got 2 laps to pass, 27 cars. All right, what's the over-under? Am I pulling this off or not? I would say medium level difficulty in terms of the AI, but this is a hard track to pass people. Here we go. Come on, give me an opportunity here. Well, should have got out of the way, bro. Sometimes you just gotta push people off the road. Jesus, man. Oh, fucking knew it. Knew it. Lost all those positions I just gained. Stop turning into me, bro. Push him off the road, don't care. Get out of my way. I'm driving a little more aggressive this time. I don't recommend ever hitting cars to win, but we're having a little fun this time. Oh, my Lanta. Don't care. Rubbin's racing, or so I thought. God damn. Tenth place. Little open road here to close the distance. That was close. Goodbye. All right, we are in 4th place, 1 lap to go, and we are 6 seconds out of the lead. But now that we're through the main cluster of nonsense, we should be able to run a little faster around the track. Oof. That was almost a wall bang. This is one of those sectors where once you come out of the groove, it's hard to get back into it. Like there, should have been in 2nd, but... Oh no. Falling apart. Those are the top 3 though, right there. To no surprise, the top 4 right now are all the Sauber Mercedes. Oh, you aggressive son of a bitch, huh? I can be aggressive too. Just like that. Put you in the wall. Get you out of my face. Oh my God. Recover, will ya? That's called karma. I am messing this all sorts of up. Woof. Whoop. Man, getting in front of these guys is tough. Oh, that's an easy way to do it. Maybe not. There we go. Just need a window. Oh, gave him the window right back, though. Nope, no, I didn't. All right. All right, we got the lead. Will we hold it, though? Oh, boy. Almost there, home stretch. No accidents, no records, just smooth race. There it is. All right, that flashing checkered light on this dash is pretty aggressive, I'm not gonna lie. All right, it just shut off. Oh boy. Oh man. All right. That was risky. We made some mistakes, some big mistakes there. But for the most part, got the job done. Alright, let me skip this cool down lap here. Whew. Let's watch the replay of that. Give my hands a stretch break. So for these, wow, fumbling over my words right now. For those of you who are, I did it again. I can't say that. for those of you who are watching, English is my first language, believe it or not. What games do you play? What Sims do you play? You play anything? Oh, hit at you. Like I was just going a little too slow for my taste, so I had to scooch him out of the way. I will say what worries me, though, about Project Motor Racing, the game that I'm looking forward to coming out, or the Sim. The replays look ass. Like, this looks so good by comparison to the replays of Project Motor Racing. That has me a little worried. But the game's not out yet. We'll see. We only got like 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks. Maybe 3 weeks. Nah, 2.5. Oh. They're always after me, Lucky Charms. That is a good looking car, man. To 19th in the dirt. Back down 23rd. I remember that. So now I gotta pass the Lucky Charms car again. I will say, the people who are always watching these streams, they sure are quiet. Open opportunity to have conversation and everyone's shy. Alright, let's back out of this. Oh, man. Oh, I know a car I want to use for now. Can't forget about the McLaren F1 GTR. I do like that car. I want to change the track, though. As much as I love the Nürburgring, my hands need a break. Do some Watkins Glen. Two laps is not enough, though. Go 10. Let's try a rolling start, too. Formation lap, no. Pit stop refueling. How many cars are there going to be? Let's find out.
hot party. The trippers, the grasshoppers, the hip ones, all gathered in secrecy and flying.
All right, let's see. Well, let's just send it. So, let's do some H-pattern racing. How am I finding the wheelbase so far? Fantastic. So, I came from the Logitech Pro, which was 11 Newton meters. This one's 18. But ignoring the peak torque output, or the constant peak torque, whatever that number actually is on both drives. Just threw me in there. Definitely like a standing start better, but rolling's not bad. The force feedback is precise, and that's what I really like. The best way I can explain the force feedback versus the Logitech is the Logitech is a butter knife, and this is a razor blade. It's sharp. It's instantaneous. Let me read your comment here. I'm running a T248 on the moment, and I'm about to pull the trigger on an EVO Sport 9 Newton meter. I guess my mind will be blown. It'll be my first. Oh, see, here's the thing. So, up to 9 Newton meters is like, I'm not using anywhere near 18 right now. So, I have it set to 18 Newton meters in the SimHub, not SimHub, SimPro, which is the software for this drive. But I'm running it at 45% in the actual game. So I don't know how accurate this number is though in terms of like a percentage. So I don't think this is 45% of 18. It could be. It could be. It could just be depending on how the game delivers. But this game at 45% force feedback feels a lot more aggressive than say Assetto Corsa at 45%. So Assetto Corsa, I want to say I'm running at I think 75% of 18 Newton meters, and I believe that number. This one I think is off. I want to say this is probably more aggressive. But that being said, though, what games do you play? Because the game has a big factor in overall Newton meters or force feedback torque. But I can tell you that I went from the G923 Logitech to the Logitech Pro, and that was like incredible. Going from the cog-driven setup to the direct drive. Any direct drive is going to feel 10 times better, regardless of torque output. But, like, you don't need the 18. I suppose they unveiled a 28 Newton meter ultimate version at the most recent Sim Expo in Germany. Dortmund, I believe it was. But that's for people who, like, lift heavy and just want to have bragging rights and how much they're fighting, because like I know there are very, very limited scenarios where that torque might be necessary, and the people like the range, which makes the lower torque figures more precise, but I don't know, man. I haven't used all of 18 yet in any scenario. I'm nowhere near it. I want to say I've gotten like 12, 13 in some scenarios, and it's a lot to drive. The better the force feedback detail is, in my opinion, the less torque you need. Automobilista 2, Assetto Corsa, WRC, BeamNG. So I play all those except BeamNG. I have BeamNG. I haven't had time to dive into the modding world of a lot of these games. I'd love to get into the original Assetto just for the moddability of it. I play ACC, but I like ACC as far as making solo laps, but I don't know. I feel like there's just a lot to be desired from a full-on, flushed-out simulator. And I don't think it's because it's just GT3 cars. I think it's because it's, I don't know, just everything sort of has its own sort of feeling the same to it. Thinking of 12 Newton meter as well, just for the headroom, but I'm also trying to keep it on a bit of a budget. So this is what I will say here. This is where my financial advisor will come out. Is getting the 12 Newton meter now going to stop you or save you doing it twice? So by that I mean, you're going to buy the 9 Newton meter now, and then eventually be like, I need a little more, and then you're going to get the 12. Because that's when all of a sudden, it's a lot more expensive to buy 2, even if you sell one, than it is to just buy the right one first. Right one for you, I mean. So, in my opinion, that's the reason why I got the 18. Not because I need 18, because I don't want to buy another one. You know? The 18 Newton meter device is going to get me the foreseeable future. I'm sure this won't be my last wheelbase in my life. But I can tell you, I'm going to get time out of it. The reason why I switched from the Logitech to this is because I wanted something... So where the Logitech is, in my opinion, the best direct drive wheel is that compatibility. You know, because I got the original, I got the Logitech, and so many people were like, I can't believe you, of all people, went with Logitech, being such a, you know, anything that I have a passion about, I'm like almost like a connoisseur of like trying to get the best or whatever it is. And I think that in the direct drive space, the window, or I guess skill gap in gaming, but the window of like worst to best is very tight. So I got a lot less going from the Logitech Pro to this than I did the G923 to the Logitech Pro. I didn't need more torque, and I gave up PlayStation compatibility, but I'm also a PC nutcase, so I don't really care. I lost Gran Turismo, is basically the only thing that I can't do now with this wheelbase. But I don't really care about it. I beat that game. I put like 1,000 hours into Gran Turismo. I don't need to play it again, honestly. Yeah, the Spec 3 patch is coming out in December. I might pick it up on controller again just to see what it's about, but like I'm good with Gran Turismo 7. As far as I'm concerned, Gran Turismo needs to come to PC already. But thinking of the Logitech RS50 for the PS5 compatibility as well, decided to give up on that and GT7 for Simagic and stick to PC. So that's true, but I can't compare since I haven't even had my hands on a DD yet. Very true, very true. What is the price difference? Let me look it up quick. I'm just gonna leave these gloves off for a second and finish this race. Let's see. Simagic, Sim Shop. So Sim Shop is pretty badass, I'll say that. That's where I've gotten all my stuff. They got great deals, and they're fast. They come out of Mesquite, Texas? Come out of Texas, I know that. So if you're in the U.S., which I imagine if you guys are watching me, you're in the U.S. So I just want to see what the actual prices are. So right now they have the bundles. Or do they? Yeah, they do. So I recommend getting it with a Neo X wheelbase or a wheel hub because it is the newer one. Always try and buy into a newer ecosystem, even if it's not as dialed in as the old stuff. Because like right now, the old Alpha stuff is probably far more dialed in from a firmware standpoint, but it's end of life in terms of support and technology. Buying into the new stuff is what you want to do, in my opinion. So we're looking at directly on price, like you said, $150. So $400 versus $550. 12 Newton meters versus 9 Newton meters. It's tough to say because you're outside the US, just got the video recommended while looking Simagic EVO up. Awesome. That's good. That's good. That's what I've been chasing because YouTube has been hurting because I switched up sort of content on this channel a bit. And it's racing adjacent content, but it's sim racing more versus real racing. But YouTube has punished me for that. But anyway, see, the problem is this. It's only $150. So, yeah, I understand the total overall budget, and you want to stick with inside that budget. I get that. That's financially the smart move. But what I think financially is the smart move is buying yourself into something for only $100. Because here's the thing. You can't just take $150 and throw it at the 9 Newton meter base, and now you have that again. You have the 12. You don't. You have to sell yours, hope to get as much money as you can, and then get back to that gap of prices, but you're going to spend more than $150 to get into a new 12 Newton meters versus selling your old 9. So I recommend the 12 just for like longevity and headroom. And because I can tell you when I first got the Logitech DD, the 11 Newton meters, there were some games that I maxed it out. I put it like, for example, F125. I ran that game at 11 Newton meters, or allowed it to go to 11 Newton meters, I should say, and that was only F125. But F125 is a very smooth F1 delivery. It's not a very jolty, snappy, break your wrist type game. So there will be scenarios where I would recommend 12, and 9 I would say might not be enough. Like 9 is great experience in F125. It would actually be my I would dial it back from 11 to 9 when I wanted a bit more fun of an experience and less of like a try-hard experience. But I would push to spend the extra $150 just to not lock yourself out of wanting more eventually. So I would say spend the $150. Pull the $150 from something. So if you're going to buy a bunch of different little things, like buy the base, buy the wheel, buy a rim, buy a shifter, whatever you're going to do, I would not buy one of those things you don't need, and I would get the slightly higher torque base first, and then eventually buy yourself the item that you had to sacrifice off the list, because it's going to cost the same no matter what. So that's my recommendation. That being said, you've never used a direct drive, 9 Newton meters is going to be plenty. You're not going to use 9 at first. You're going to be like, Jesus, how do people do this? You get used to it, but yeah, that's my recommendation. JK, AMS2 is my main sim. How does the Simagic feel with it? I'm looking to get the 12 Newton meter. I played it, like I said, I went from the Logitech Direct Drive to this, ignoring torque, where I would say I definitely notice more with this drive over the Logitech one is like very, very, very slight bumps in the road. So terrain texture, I guess you would call it, where I feel it's not jarring where like it affects my driving, but I just feel a little bit of like if I hit a bump, if I'm on a straight and I hit a little bit of a bump in the road, I might get like a slight twitch, that I might feel. Not a lot. And if there's bumps, you feel a little bit of them, right? But it's not enough to like affect driving. It's just a little more immersive, I guess you would call it. I just feel like I'm not on a perfectly flat planed road. Now, the Logitech would pick up bigger bumps. Obviously, it would pick up curves and throw you around, but this does too. But the real small details, I noticed the Simagic does a lot better at. But where I would say this loses is obviously no PlayStation support. In my opinion, They cost the same, the Logitech Pro versus the Alpha EVO Pro, the base-wise anyway. They both have strengths and weaknesses. I think from an overall delivery, the Simagic EVO is better. It's just an objectively better device. However, plug-and-play compatibility is a big thing. If you are the type of person who cannot troubleshoot things, get a Logitech. Trust me, it's easier. So let me actually show you quick, since we're on the subject of talking about this. So these are just some of the settings. And by the way, I recommend turning these things off, in all honesty. These are a lot of the not feedback from the game itself, right? So I like mechanical friction. I like mechanical inertia. It makes the wheel feel a little bit heavier and like there's kind of more there to turn when you're not using force feedback. So like if you zeroed out the mechanical friction and the mechanical inertia sliders here, if you're not getting any generated force feedback from the game, the wheel will feel very kind of loose. Now I don't like mechanical damper, because mechanical friction uses a realism type effect to give you feedback in the wheel. Like I feel like I'm turning, for example, the best way I can explain it is mechanical friction feels like I'm turning a power steering rack. And mechanical damper feels like I'm just turning a heavy steering shaft. It's just heavy. Like there's just no feedback to it. It just makes the wheel harder to turn. Mechanical friction feels like I'm just turning a heavier drive line, you know? So I don't know if I'm doing a good job of explaining that difference there, but like mechanical friction feels like a real effect. Mechanical damper feels like it's an effect there to neuter all of the other effects, to make it just easier for you by making the wheel smoother. Steering torque assist, this will actually turn torque down, essentially, when you're getting a constant torque and say a turn, it will soften the torque. I guess if I'm tired that day, maybe, but, you know, wheel speed, real rotation speed. How many of you guys have seen videos of force feedback wheels where they're in a straight line and all of a sudden the wheels when they let go of the wheel immediately goes until they grab it again? That's this. So if I did this, wheel speed rotation 100%, it naturally it takes force feedback and wants to recenter the wheel. So what happens is the slightest bump that moves the wheel in the game from real life or real telemetry force feedback, the wheel itself in the software will want to snap back to center. And what happens is it'll never fully correct to the right centered position, so you get this oscillating effect of back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. I hated that about Logitech because there wasn't a way to turn that off. You could soften it, you could add mechanical damper, which I don't like, but in this actual firmware or software controlled firmware, there we go, you just go whoop, back down to 0, and now you're not getting that fake like, oh, I took my hands off the wheel, so the wheel's trying to do this shit now. Don't get me wrong, it will still shimmy a bit because you are going 180 plus miles an hour in a straight, and the road does move the wheel, but it doesn't want to immediately. I have driven a lot of cars and gone very fast. I've never had a car where the second I would like start to take pressure off the steering wheel at any level of speed, the wheel would just start snapping back and forth. You would die immediately. No car does that. I shouldn't say no car, but nothing I've ever driven. So that's a really nice feature to turn off with this. And now, so I'll show you this quick here. That's my preset. The default one is this. Discard. See how the wheel just snapped right there? When I applied those, that's the wheel speed rotation, snapping it to that position. So these are the default settings here. I turn off the damper, turn off the prediction, turn off the slew rate. Feedback detail, this is going to be something that it's up to you guys if you like it or not. And that I mean, like, this just takes the detail that you're getting from the game and increases it. So if you've seen videos, if you haven't bought one of these yet, you see got a lot of guys complaining about it's just a loud bass, which, by the way, I don't know if that was old firmware or people just being sensitive, weird, but yes, there is a constant friction sound that this thing makes, but it's a very smooth, almost ASMR-like sound. It is not loud, even at feedback level or detail setting 20. You hear it get louder, but it's not loud. But that being said, this 20 is louder than setting this to 0. I run it at 0 because it just feels a bit more authentic. Now, what this will do is it will give you more vibration through the wheel, which will give you somewhat of a haptic feel. That's cool. However, I personally have butt kickers, which I forgot to turn on, so I've been playing without the butt kickers. I knew I was missing something seat of the pants wise. So I run a front and rear butt kicker on this, and that does all my haptics for me. So this being turned off just makes the driving experience feel a bit more authentic because I'm getting the haptics from what would feel like the actual ground, because no real life vibration and haptic comes generated from the wheel. It's generated from the tires on the ground. So I leave that like that. But a lot of this stuff, I recommend turning some of this stuff off immediately and then going from there. This wheel speed rotation, or wheel rotation speed, same thing. I recommend leaving that at 0. I hate that setting. I don't like the wheel wanting to fight me. I want the car to turn, or the only thing that I feel like I'm resisting is the car, not the wheel. This makes it feel like it's a fake setting that the wheel is just trying to turn me, and I don't want that to happen. So that goes to 0, and I run this at 0 too. Now, if you have, I recommend probably like 10 if you don't have any other haptics, because that will give you some better haptic feel. So back to my preset. These are the only games that I've set my own. Actually, ACC and AMS, I run identical. I like them both the same, which tells me there's going to be a lot of games that I like this layout. All right. Oh, and the feature set too, this software. I really like this software. A lot of people are complaining about wanting native SimHub support. I have the mag links too. I just don't have them hooked up. But the auto switch is nice. I don't have a Assetto Corsa. Actually, this one's got to be, well, where is Assetto Corsa? Let's do that. But so I have it set to automatically switch to this, automatically switch to this, automatically switch to F125, and all I have to do is just run this in the background, close it, so it's running in the background, right here, and when I switch games, it just automatically switches the preset for me. It's really nice. Real quick, I'm going to turn so wheel rotation speed is not helping with counter steering for drifting. That part, so I would say, yes, you're right. I don't drift, though. That's the thing. So now, does that mean I'm never going to play a drift game? No. But 100% that will absolutely be used for drifting, because you need the wheel to recenter. When you, let's say you go all the way to lock one side and you want to let go of the wheel for drifting, you need to have it pull itself back to the center. So, go back out of this quick here. Again, though, I don't play any kind of drift games. So, in that sense, yes, you are right. You would want that for drifting. Where is it? Devices. So let's load a preset. Let's see. Simagic CarX Drift. So they use a 55 on the wheel speed rotation. EAWRC uses 45. Like F1 used 40. I don't want that wheel to snap back. That game is so smooth in delivery, I want full control of that wheel. Then here's the thing. Leaving this setting at 0 doesn't mean the wheel doesn't recenter. It just doesn't center fast. So it will, if you're turning the wheel and I have it at 0 and I let go of the wheel naturally will still come back. It doesn't stay there. It can't stay there. But this just means that if I do this 100% and I let go of it, it's snapping back. Like you saw before when I switched from 0 and it was straight and it got that signal, it snapped like this. It overshoots with 100% for sure. I'm not a fan, but here's the thing. What I like is not necessarily going to be what everybody likes. That's the beauty of it. I like it with 0. Let's see. Let me go back up quick here. I would really think about it. Have you ever tried the Simpson Plus pedals? I have not. So, I've learned the market right now, this is what's great, and it wasn't like this, and I always try, competition in every industry is good for everybody, every consumer of that industry. So right now, the bar and how tight the battle is for like the next best thing, we're doing this. So like, I just bought P1000 pedals as part of this kit. They're a relatively old pedal. They're phenomenal. Are there better pedals out there? I'm sure. But like this, I can tell you this. I've had some nice race cars in my life. These pedals are better than any car, real life pedals I've ever had. Mechanically, movement, everything. These are incredible. Now, mind you, I've never had like, by race cars, I mean street cars that turned into race cars. I've never had I've never gotten into a real race car and gone around a track. Those I'm sure have better pedals. But like, for example, I had a 2012 Boss 302. Regular pedals, like any other car you've ever driven. These are so much better. The braking, I have so much more control of braking. So what I'm trying to say is I'm sure the Simpson pedals, while I have not tried them, are fantastic. I could probably try 10 different pedals, and unless I spent or I wildly critiqued every pedal set from one to the other, they're all going to feel awesome. I can almost guarantee that. Where I would say usually dictates how good something is the money spent. And by that I mean, because the market is so saturated with quality now, and everybody's doing battle and competition, and when competition gets close, if both pedal sets are, say, $500, they're probably going to give you a relatively similar experience. If both pedal sets are $200, they're going to give you a relatively... So what I'm trying to say is, you're not going to buy one brand's $500 pedals and then be worse than another brand's $200 pedals. Because competition. They wouldn't be able to sell $500 pedals for $500 if this other brand's $200 pedals were better. Because everybody would just buy those. So, in my opinion, the VRS, I always forget how to say that one until I hear someone say it, and then I say it like that for a while, then I don't say it enough, and then I forget. The Hussinkweld, I don't know how to say them again, but I've heard good things about those. So I'm in North Carolina, and Charlotte in May, they have their first Sim Expo. I can't wait to go. I'm going to get in every possible rig to try every... I'm sticking with this Simagic stuff for a while, but as a channel, YouTube channel that is trying to put out content related to sim racing, I want to be able to answer these questions confidently and not be like, I've never tried it. I want to be able to give you my honest opinions. Let me see. I tried the haptics. Cosmin, are you referring to the haptics for the pedals or haptics in general? That was one of the things I bought. So I bought the base P1000 kit. I bought the long pedal and I bought the spring kit. I read a lot about elastomer relaxation. It's basically what happens is that when you push the brakes, you put a certain amount of pressure down. So let's just say 80% physical brake pressure, right? And you get to a certain load cell number of pressure, and what happens is the elastomers will start relaxing. So with your same foot pressure, the brake will start applying. You'll start applying less brake to the sensor, and your foot hasn't moved. So that's where I like the combination of a harder and a softer spring to get you a more progressive rate, but a repeatable brake pedal. I think I have two reds in it right now, which is technically the same spring, but it still stiffens up a little bit the more you compress the spring. It's a really good brake pedal feel. The only other option I would run is replacing one of the red springs with a green one. Makes the pedal a little stiffer, but it gives it a more progressive feel than what I currently have. But I like what I currently have. And that's coming from the Logitech pedal, which used elastomers. I can tell you, having used elastomers and used springs, I like customizable multi-spring setups far better than customizable elastomers. The squish of the elastomer, it just doesn't feel right to me. Some people might like it better, though. Again, don't take my opinion as objective. These are all subjective thoughts. AMS2 has a lot of custom feedback files and mods and tweaks. Even from default to default plus feels different. Maybe you can try it sometime. I want to say I've tried default. I'm on default right now. I tried default plus, and I don't notice much difference going from default to default plus. Default plus, it says it, hold on, it adds some understeer drop off, more chassis feedback for the feeling the car's weight transfer. I don't know. I can feel some of it. The understeer drop off, I don't feel at all, honestly. That could just be me. Where I would say default plus I feel more is it just feels grainier. I feel like it is delivering me more information, but the information isn't helping me in any way. And it's not delivering me any kind of immersion either. Instead of running default plus, say for AMS2 versus default, I would just turn up that feedback slider, or the, I think it's the feedback slider. Yeah, feedback detail. I would turn this up before chasing it in default plus. That's my opinion. Again, let's leave that open for now. Fancy wheel, James. Yeah, she's fancy. Actually, if you guys, when this stream is over, if you want to go back and look, the very first thing I did, where did I put it? Of course, I put it over there. I did a comparison on the Nürburgring with the Viper 2005 Viper GT3 or GT car, because it wasn't a GT3 car back then. Comparing round wheel and H pattern to the Neo GT with paddles to see how much faster I would go, and I'm not thinking about shifting an H pattern. I want to say it was a total difference of like 3 seconds around the Nürburgring, lap to lap, where even though they visibly look like good laps, what I'm able to focus on more with the Neo and the paddles was, or the Neo, they're both Neos. I'm gonna just get the wheel, hold on. Alright, so this is the comparison here. These two wheels. What I was able to focus on a lot more with this was because muscle memory dictates shifting with paddles so much more, because so many more things use paddles these days. I'm able to focus more on entry and exit speeds of corners. So I'll come into a corner a little bit hotter and apply a little bit more brake more aggressively and max the chassis out a bit more and come out a bit more aggressively. Whereas when I'm using the H pattern and the round wheel, I'm still driving good, or smooth, I should say, but I'm out of the throttle and on the brakes a little bit sooner. I roll the brakes on a little softer because my brain is naturally thinking about, all right, I'm doing XYZ speed, third gear, or second gear downshift, or first gear downshift, whatever it is. So I'm no longer thinking about what gear I need to be in when I'm using that. I just naturally go by, okay, here, bang, bang, stuff like that. So I recommend having both wheels for different things. Like, I'm having more fun with the round wheel and the H pattern, just from a hooligan standpoint. If I'm trying to win a race, I'm using the other wheel. Just catching up on comments here. I guess their presets are just giving you a general idea from where to adjust the settings for racing. I don't see why you would want wheel rotation speed set that high. In my opinion, you don't. So I came from the Logitech to this, and it took me a while to figure out where I didn't, because I did not like the force feedback at first. It was like, it wasn't a strength thing. I felt like there was a fake sort of feedback feel that was like messing with it was causing me to like drive like this, and I'm like, I can't stop this. It was the wheel rotation speed. And if I softened up torque to the point where I could fully stop the wheel rotation speed, I couldn't feel the actual feedback when I wanted to. So that setting, in my opinion, sucks. I mean, good to have as an adjustment slider. Hey, if you like this, use it. But if they forced that on, I would be so upset with this wheelbase, it's not even funny. But luckily you can turn it off, so it feels great. Because in my opinion, the Logitech naturally was probably like, I would say, here. And it could never quite turn it off. So a lot of the games come out like between 30 and 50 preset, which is even more than how I was used to. And then I'm able to turn it off. It's the best it feels, period. So my thoughts on that. Jealous of you guys in the US, so easy to get the hands on these things. Honestly, like if you're really chasing the sim jealousy, I want to say it's where are you from? But I want to say it's overseas in like because everybody I see online who's talking about sim stuff is all British or United Kingdom, stuff like that. They did have a sim expo this past year in Chicago. I didn't go to that one. Meant the haptics for the pedals for the Simpson Plus. Gotcha. I'm sure they're good. Honestly, the haptics, it all comes down to the software. You can be delivered the most state-of-the-art, greatest piece of kit hardware and have horrible software and it feel terrible. I think, what's his name who I watch? Gamer whatever. What's his name? I forgot. Let me see if I can find it over here. Descriptions. Where is he at? Gamer Muscle Videos. He's another channel that I watch. He has a very, very critiquing style of things, and it's comedic, and I kind of like it. Because I like critiquing. Now, there's clearly a line where you're just being picky about things you shouldn't be picky about. You're complaining to complain. I don't think he's there, but he definitely critiques. That he had a really good video of explaining about how, like, it doesn't matter what I just said. It doesn't matter how good your hardware is if the software behind it, be it the game delivery of the software or the actual device's software, if it's terrible, it'll make the hardware feel terrible. Like that setting to me, the wheel rotation speed, I was like, kind of got buyer's remorse. I'm like, oh no, I don't like this. And then I actually found it in Google. I Googled it and I found someone complaining about the way AMS feels with these wheelbases, and come to find out, wheel speed rotation. Amongst other things too, I recommend turning off like the dynamic prediction. Play with the settings. I did not like this setting. I play with each setting one at a time to try and compare and see what I liked. I did not like wheel speed. These all do something negative and positive depending on what game and what you like. In my opinion, this one just ruined racing games to me. Maybe, again, I don't drift, though. I can definitely see why drifters would want this setting, though. I meant the haptics for the pedal. I misread that. Yeah, default plus is great for the T300. Maybe not so good for DD wheels. Speaking of Neos, would you say Neo X Hub plus C-shape wheel is better than the GT Neo? I would say it depends on the game. If it's a car, and I don't know, man. So I have, actually, you know what? No, I'll go get it right now. I'll be right back. All right, let's go full screen so I can show you this stuff. So this is the Logitech hub with the MPI wheel. I don't know what the exact shape of this is. I mean, this to me is more of a D-rim, but technically a D-rim is rounded at the top. Let me see on screen here if I'm showing you this in the right direction. I'm watching my live feed and it's a little delayed. All right, so I had it backwards. Anyway, this was my hands down favorite wheel to race any kind of GT car. But it primarily came down to the grip area with your thumbs. And if you notice, it's because this is narrow right here. So I used the Logitech track wheel with my Logitech One. And the track wheel, I only used it for Formula One. I hated it for everything else because right here was a lot wider. So for some reason, not for some reason, but it makes your thumbs go up high and your fingers kind of have to tuck back like this rather than wrap around. From a grip standpoint, I'm trying to get the angle. Actually, let's do this. From a grip standpoint, I liked this ability. Whereas I couldn't grip like that, it was wider with the track wheel. And I did not like that. So in this sense here, for all racing, I preferred this except for Formula One. The reason why is this is a 310 millimeter wheel. The track wheel was 290. In my opinion, this wheel is better than both of those combined. Because this is right there in the middle, 300, so it's a little wider than the 290, obviously. But the grip is perfect. Like, it's wide right here. Trying to, I'll go to my actual stream feed. All right, so you can see this right here. And then how narrow this is. It makes it really nice. Upside down. I've done that several times, by the way. Tried putting this on upside down when I realized I was upside down. This grip is amazing. Like, I'll be honest with you. Outside of making this maybe a little bit textured and maybe a little softer, I see no way you can improve this grip for my hands. Now, mind you, people have bigger hands, people have smaller hands, people have thicker, meatier hands, sausage fingers. This is, like, incredible for me. So, in my opinion, of all the wheels I've tried so far, I tried a lot of different wheels for Logitech. I was trying to find the perfect wheel and I could never do it. This, in my opinion, is the perfect wheel. And the crazy thing about it is how quality this wheel is. This might be the nicest wheel I've ever held in my life. That's probably an exaggeration. But I can think of, like, I'm talking any car, race car. I've sat in race cars, driven a lot of street cars with different wheels on it. This feels like it belongs in a high-tier, high-dollar race car. It's basic. That would be its only flaw. Doesn't have 6 paddles, doesn't have a screen. But, I mean, from a pure quality standpoint, this thing's fucking awesome. And by the way, I am not sponsored, nor does Simagic even know that I exist. So these are just, this is me. This is my honest, real thoughts. I don't think I've used anything that I can honestly say sucks, if I'm being completely honest with you. Even the G923, while I used it, I loved it. I haven't used anything where I could say, honestly, this is junk. You should not buy this. I think everything has been very well priced for the quality. I think this GT Neo should be more expensive. It's so competitively priced, I don't even understand how they can afford to make it. Maybe that just tells me that they're making that much money on upcharging things that they can get away with it. That also too. Something about this one is just satisfying. It's very aggressive. It's the little things that make you happy. How is the Neo X330R that you're using right now? That's what I also picked from the 4 of them. Did you purchase it yet, or are you just waiting to purchase it? So, my only complaint about this wheel, particularly, is it's advertised as leather. This isn't leather. And I don't mean like it's not genuine leather. It's pleather or some kind of fake stuff. No, this is like far more of like a soft composite. It's going to be durable as hell. Like I guarantee you never wear this wheel down. You could grind on this thing 1,000 hours a week. That's obviously can't happen. I don't know why I said that like that. You could put 1,000 hours on this thing, and I guarantee you won't even put like marks in, like shiny marks or wear marks or whatever. It's durable, but it feels cheap. I'll be honest with you. I actually haven't. So most people will disagree with me on this, and that's fine. All my friends do. I like Alcantara wheels. Suede, if you don't know what Alcantara is, it's microfiber if you don't know what either of those materials are. I ordered the exact wheel in the Alcantara version coming because they're half off right now. They're like $60 versus $120. So I ordered an Alcantara one to replace it because that's probably going to be my full-time round wheel. I have on the shelf over there, I have the Momo one for the Logitech, and it's Alcantara. That wheel in hand feels a lot better than this wheel. I'll say that. No effect on driving, but just from a pure feel standpoint, I love that Momo. I hate that I can't buy a real Momo. I say a real, that is a real. It's just a sim one. I can't buy a real Momo for a car and get the same grip feeling. They don't make anything like that. The grip on that wheel is really cool. UK, Germany, it's the best to be there for... Yes, that's what I was thinking of, yep. Meant the prices are so good in the US. I'm from Romania and currently living in Israel, so only shipping from Simagic is... So only the shipping from Simagic is $150. Got it. I'm from Malaysia. Simagic ships free from China and at a cheaper price on Taobao. But stuff like Asetek and VRS costs a whole lot more for us here in Southeast Asia. Gotcha. I haven't tried that Asetek Initium yet. So, I'm weird. I want to get the best of the best stuff because I'm a psycho. Anything I'm passionate about, I want to get the best of, which makes you wonder why I didn't get Simicube, because I can't afford it. It's ridiculous. And whether I have the money or not, I can't afford it because, in my opinion, the way that stuff is priced... You have to have ridiculous amount of disposable income. Because if I got an Simicube, $2,000 for a base, $2,000 for... I would get 3 haptic or active pedals. I'm going to buy the BDH shifter and buy all this crazy stuff. And next thing you know, I've got $10,000 worth of just one-off devices. I will say I'm in it for about maybe $6,000 right now in the entire setup. That's not including the computer. That's a completely separate cost. I built computers long before the sim. But the sim itself, I'm at about 6,000, and I got everything I want, in my opinion. $6,000 in the Simicube stuff wouldn't get me anything, but I am more interested in the budget line of things. So like the RS50 Logitech, I think that was... there was a debate about were they going to make a more powerful wheel or a lesser powered wheel than the DD. In my opinion, what they came out with was perfect. 8 Newton meters, small form factor, flat, so meaning it mounts flat and the drive comes out directly straight. I really didn't like that the Logitech Pro, it mounts, if you mount it flat, the drive comes up at an angle. So it means you have to tilt down every desk or every thing you lie it on to get the wheel to kind of line up with your chest. It makes adjusting harder. But what I was going to say was that I'm far more interested because I want to get a lot of my friends that don't really... They're into racing, but they're not like that into racing where they would build their own sim, where the budget stuff could be like, I could afford, $2,000, $2,500 to build myself a badass full-blown sim setup. But like, whereas the $5,000 and $6,000 is going to turn off a lot of people. The casuals. The guys that are crazy, they're going to spend endless amounts of money no matter... They're going to spend their entire paycheck on everything, Waiting it's in the cart. On Monday, I'll place the order. So I don't know if you're buying the bundle. I don't know how you're buying it. I bought mine from something. I forgot the website. The #1 U.S. retailer. So you wouldn't buy it from them. But they were selling the bundles, and the Alcantara wheel was not on the list for the bundle. I was bummed because that would be the wheel I got. So I got the regular, this one. Honestly, expect, if you buy this wheel, if you don't mind, they call it leather. It's not leather. It's not pleather. It's not even the fake stuff. It's straight up composite with a very soft composite. Like, I don't know if you'll be able to hear it, but let me see if my mic is picking that up on the software here. Yeah, it is. Let me get my mouse. I guess that's not a very good test method. It all sounds like that, but you still can hear it's very plasticky. I will be right back, fellas. All right. We're back. All right, so let's catch up here. I'm waiting in car, but I don't know if I should Neo X Hub or GT Neo. I'm thinking of QR Plus cheap round wheel only for rally. So, I mean, it's, in my opinion, it's going to come down to what racing you're doing. Rally, I would never use the GT Neo. You absolutely need it. You don't even want a D-rim. You absolutely need treat rally like drifting. You need to have that wheel slide in your hands and not bump your hands around at all. So, for example, this is my last round wheel, the Momo, the Logitech. Well, like this grip right here, where it's like bigger here and then narrower and then it's got this wide here. This feels incredible in the hands. I love this wheel. This wheel will actually fit on this hub, but I think it's going to have a little too much flex. So like if you can see this here. Now, I don't mind that because I don't grip the wheel up here, but these screw holes in the back of the Logitech where it bolts right here, now I might be able to pull the sides out a little bit. So this Momo wheel really is specific to the Logitech hub in terms of its structure. Let's see. Oh, so that's right. I was answering your question about the Neo. Drifting, the GT Neo, which would, I mean, not drifting. Rally, the GT Neo would not work for you. In my opinion, if you don't know what wheel to get and you don't know fully what you're going to play yet, like what you're really going to dive into, get a round wheel. Because here's the thing. There is nothing you can do with the GT Neo that you can't do with the round wheel on this hub. This will do it all. It's got your paddles, got your clutches. It's a bigger wheel. It's round. You can grip it here, whatever you want. You can do whatever you want. You lose a couple of buttons on this hub compared to the GT Neo. But there's a lot of things you're not going to be able to do with this, like drift and rally. A lot of times, you got to move it if you want a sequential. You have to hold this wheel with one hand, or you got to grip it in another spot and let it go. You can't do that with this. It cannot be done. I think you'll like this better for track racing, like any kind of GT, Le Mans, whatever car. And I think you might be a little bit better with it, a little faster. Again, it's not really going to matter. You'll get used to whatever you have, and you'll be just as good. But I think naturally, this will go a little bit faster when you're really, really, really at that limit. But it's useless for rally and drifting. So, in my opinion, get a round wheel if you truly just don't know what you want to do yet. And then later on, when you have the money, buy a second wheel, buy the GT Neo. Because that's what I did. I got them both for that reason. Because I know me. I'm never fully satisfied with one thing trying to do everything. How hard are the GT Neo grips? I heard they're very hard. They're not grippy at all. I shouldn't say they're not grippy at all. In all honesty, they're the same as this wheel. So the leather that they advertise this wheel with, this is the same level of softness. It's just this is textured, this is smooth. Nothing about this though is like I said, uncomfortable. The way I can grip this, it doesn't need to be like a grippier texture. Because I have such a good lock on this thing, it's never going to slip out of my hands. And I like this wheel. But if you want that very soft, plush, grippy feeling, get some like grip tape and wrap it or something like that. Also, if your hands are bigger than mine, I don't know, then you might want grip tape anyway to kind of fill up some of because I know a wheel that feels too narrow or too thin will never feel good for you. And I was thinking about buying only the hub. Oh, hold on. I was thinking of the GT Neo, but I don't think it's going with the type of games and car I'm driving usually. Then I was thinking of buying only the hub, the button box, and buy a cheap rim to slap on it. So I will say, I don't know how cheap is when you say cheap rim, but the Simagic wheels are like $60 right now. US, again, I know you guys are out of country. So I can tell you that in the US, the only way I'm getting a cheaper wheel than $60 is to go to a junkyard and try and find some nice junk, I guess you could say. So you could buy a round wheel, and then you could also get like a C shape or a D rim or whatever, not the D rim, but whatever this wheel's called, this shape is called. You could buy all three of those at $180, you know? So, but this way, the difference between the hub and a cheap rim from AliExpress is not that significant comparing to the Neo 330R, the round one he's currently using. How much are the rims on AliExpress? Because, I mean, 60 is relatively cheap. That's how I decided to go with the R bundle. It's currently priced at $289 and only the hub is $200. It's nice to have some buttons for navigating through menus. So you still have the buttons you give up directly. You give up 2 dials. So you have the bottom 2 dials on this, but you don't have the top 2. And you give up these buttons. I mean, technically any button doesn't matter, but you have 2 less buttons on this. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You still have 2 actuators that are push button, and you still have the 2 dials on the side. So you're only giving up 2 dials and 2 buttons for as far as button and input goes. So you're not giving up much by not getting the GT Neo there. AliExpress wheel costs $30 USD. Well, all right then. I guess that's cheaper. Tuna says you're still slow. Tuna's getting the gap tonight, just so you know. I'm doing a second stream at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I will be gapping him pretty badly in AMS. Speaking of which, I should probably do some racing, huh? Let me try and do some casual. Oh, that's right, I had a race to finish. I forgot all about that. Yeah, but then you think of the quality. I'm sure, I mean, like, for how simple this wheel is, I mean, mind you, this is technically a $120 wheel that's on sale for 50% off right now. So, if this is $120 quality, what's $30 quality? I still opt for the $60 of this. This at $60 is a very, very good quality versus dollar. Words are hard. Alright, what gear am I in currently in this car? Alright, I will continue to chat with you guys while I try and win this race here. How many laps I got? Oh, let's find out. I forgot where I'm at all with this, so... Whoa, that's not a good place to pause, was it? Holy moly! So I'm in 26 out of 40th. Lap 2. I forgot to put my gloves on. I feel naked. Get my gloves on. I just paused before a turn. Again. Also, too, Logitech True Force. How's the 330R wheel flex? I mean... I don't know how it looks in camera, but like, you're never gonna, if you're pulling on a wheel like this, you gotta learn how to drive a car. I would say it's twice as stiff as the Momo for the Logitech. I would say that this has no flex, but I know how people are, and if people can't bring it to their local power lifter and they can't bend it at all, or if they can bend it at all, then that's a flexible piece of shit. Sorry, piece of crap. Trying to watch my language in the sim world, because in the actual real racing world there is no watching my mouth. You know, I want to turn my haptics on. I forgot. God damn. Hold on. All right. Now maybe we'll be ready to focus. Check my phone quick. A buddy of mine, he currently uses the Playseat Trophy, and he just picked up the new TR8 Pro V2. Anyway, the version 2 rig. So I'll be very curious to see how that one is. And I'm sure I'll talk about it on here. I'm running the Next Level Racing FGT Pro. So I know the argument is always get an extrusion rig, blah blah blah. I get it, but I have this rig set up in front of my TV, and I have couches on the side. This is also my movie room and where I do all of my entertainment. And I have this rig on the Next Level Racing frame so I can mount haptics and motion and stuff to it if I want to. But this thing is very low to the ground profile. That's what I like about the tubular stuff. They keep them low. Whereas if I went to an extrusion rig, I was looking at ASR stuff because I like their brand and they're in Canada. It's just too high. So it would block too much of the TV. Now, if I had a dedicated sim room with nothing else, then maybe I'd consider the ASR again. But I have no complaints about this. This thing is super comfortable. It's super awesome. It's rigid as heck. 50mm tubing. It works. But anyway, I'll be getting my thoughts on it. But I recommended that to him. I recommended the Fanatec GT cockpit. All tubular stuff. I also recommended ASR. But anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and say, to answer your question on this wheel flex, it doesn't flex. If you want to call this flexing, then you're just trying to break stuff, in my opinion. Just run with that, I guess. Better safe than sorry. Can't wait to see the difference between a belt base and a DD already, man. You're going to... I don't know what that base is like, but if it's anything like the Logitech G923, the noise the COG system makes is insane. The loudest... Like, so I have a couple guys I play with, and their headset mics, they pick up the sound of it reverberating through their desks and stuff. It just sounds like I laugh because I always hear him crash before he rages. So you just hear the wheel and it's him crashing. It's funny. So I don't know how loud that one is, but their direct drives are dead silent by comparison. That's why I laughed at all the guys that were complaining about these Evo bases being loud. I don't know how anybody can come from any either cog driven or belt driven device and complain about the noise these produce. Also, what would you recommend to upgrade first, wheelbase or pedal set? Oh, pedal set all day. All day. Like when I had the G923, I bought the Logitech Pro pedals before I bought the Pro base because I hated the pedals. They just didn't. There was very little actuation, very little range of control, and they felt terrible. These pedals, I would say the Pro pedals were 500% better than the G923 cheap plastic pedals, and these are probably 50% better than the Logitechs from a feeling standpoint. They're 200 to 300% better from customizability. You can do so much shit with these. That's stuff with these. That's what I was thinking, but I'll go with the wheelbase first just to get rid of this already. I can't take it anymore. I mean, honestly, they're both things you're going to want either of. Like, whichever one you get first, make sure you get the second one relatively close behind it because it's going to be worth it. All right, let's try and finish this race, and I will chat with you guys while I do this too. I just got to try and get through this race. Man, the butt kicker is just—that's what I'm talking about with that setting that the feedback setting. It's good if you don't have any chassis haptics, but the feeling I'm getting from the rig itself right now I would say just shut the wheelbase up and run pure force feedback, like steering related force feedback, and get all your haptics from the rig. Weird. Oh, buddy. No reason to be driving like that, sir. Oh, now I'm being the ass. Oh no, oh no. Occasionally, it feels good to hit the AI. Obviously, you don't want to do that when you're playing multiplayer with real people. But every once in a while, you feel like the AI deserves to just kind of get rammed into. Especially when they start it. So I'm curious, what time is it over there? Because I know one of you is in Malaysia, and I forgot what the other one said. Where the other guy you said you were from? I think he said Israel, maybe. Anyway, what's the time zone over there right now? I'd have to do a conversion or look it up. It is 1 o'clock here, p.m. Or 1300 if you're in the military. Oh, went wide, damn. That's so... I'm an idiot. It's like they say in Tropic Thunder, never go full retard. Well, it's kind of what I just did there. Forgot where gears were located on the H pattern. Woof. I daily drive an H pattern. Let's cut this corner a little. Force my way in. Smoothly, except for that. Oh, come on. There was no reason to brake that early. Make me look like the jerk. Dude. Ah, everything I just gained on that lap, I just lost. $2 a.m. in Malaysia, 8 p.m. in Israel. Got it. It kind of sucks too because the AI is like, they're okay when it comes to like thinking, so they all follow a line for the most part. And it technically is the ideal line. But if they're all in the ideal line, you can't pass them without hitting them. So you kind of have to take a non-ideal line and cut corners to get in front of the AI. Like that. Not an ideal line, but... Stop. Stop. We're good. We're good. Okay, we're good. But if you stay on the ideal line, you'll never get in front of the AI, because they'll never deviate. Thanks for the inches you gained a sub. All the best with the stream. Thank you. I appreciate that. Like I said, I will be live Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time and 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So a nighttime stream, basically 12 hours apart. I'm going to do that as long as I can keep that up. I don't know if I'm going to do that forever, but I'm going to do it long enough to see which one becomes the more dominant viewed stream. I can still technically do both because I'm a night owl, so both of those times fit into my schedule. And I'm self-employed, so I can finagle that as I need to. I don't have to worry about a 9 to 5 or reporting to the boss, because I am the boss. But this is something I always want to do. Streaming. I've dabbled with podcasts and stuff like that for years. I followed some streamers for a decade now. When I was on YouTube with my own account, before YouTube was a popular thing. But I've built a career around racing. So in my opinion, this is the only thing that makes sense. I like technology, I like racing, and I like video games. What do I stream? So it's going to take a minute to grow. Oh, what? But that's fine. I don't mind the grind. Alright, so we got 4 laps left. And I'm in 8th. Oh! And I just spilled water everywhere. Give me 2 minutes. That's the one thing that's problematic about butt kickers and haptics. You tend to vibrate everything off of any kind of shelf you have. What a mess. What a mess. Okay. Be careful where you put drinks, because I have tables and stuff all over here, but they're all attached to the rig. Whew. Luckily, that was only water. A lot of electronics in the area, though, so... Hopefully, I got my keyboard wet, so hopefully that works. We'll leave it off for now, just for safety. AI playing bumper cars? Yes, they are. I subbed as well. I'll make sure to pop in sometimes, man. Enjoy. I'll update you about my rig as soon as I... Absolutely. I'm going to be posting lots of videos as well. I am going to try and do some rig / component review related things when I can. Now, like I said, I'm not on anybody's list of like, you know, test out this product for me. So until then, anything I do test is either I'm testing it for my friends because they bought stuff, or because I bought it. So I can tell you that I've used Logitech and I've used Simagic, and personally owned them. I mean, I've used Fanatec stuff too. Fanatec stuff's good. I think it's the most saturated. I think there's a lot of... I think they're coming back, though. I think their new stuff's going to be pretty good. So we'll see how that stuff goes. But I'm going to review stuff when I get the chance. And until any kind of, like... I don't want to say sponsors. I don't know what that's called when you're on the... I guess it would be affiliate. When you're... it's not an affiliate. When companies basically send you components to test for a review. Is it an affiliate? I don't know what's that called? I guess it would be affiliate since you said affiliate. Yeah, I'm an affiliate and a dealer for a lot of motorcycle related stuff. But sim stuff I am still, as a business is concerned, brand new to. So this is purely for my own fun and what I want to make content about. James, I know you would send me free stuff. You're nice like that. I'm sure most of these companies have affiliate programs. I think you'd qualify easily. You just have to apply for it. I don't know how... I mean, I definitely want to look into applying for that stuff. I just don't know what the requirements are. Because, like, you know, I got 25,000 subscribers on here, which is something. It's not... This channel could be so much bigger if I pushed it, but I kind of stopped caring about YouTube-related stuff. Mainly because I stopped caring about content and bikes. But the problem is that of that 25,000, most of those people are here for different things. Motorcycles, essentially. And I know a lot of them probably don't care about this because they go, oh, it's video games. That's fine. But we'll see. Seen way smaller channels reviewing something. Yeah, but that, again, that comes down to... If all they need is subscribers, then yeah, I qualify. But if it goes by... We'll see. We'll see. Thanks for the vote of confidence. I appreciate it. All right, let's attempt to finish this race. There's nothing we can spill. We're good. I got so close to soaking my friggin' $100 USB hub. That'd have been just a really annoying thing to fail. Because everything on this rig is plugged into it. Everything. Anyway. Okay, we're good to go. Here we go. Let's try to not crash. Want to see me play MotoGP with a steering wheel? I don't know if you've paid any attention to this stuff, James, but at the most recent Sim Expo in Germany, they had a full-blown motorcycle simulator that you lean over on and anything. I don't know if I could ever get into that. So I'm weird. When it comes to cars, I like road racing and any kind of track racing. When it comes to motorcycles, I'm all about straight line racing. I couldn't care less about turning a motorcycle. Don't know why. Maybe it's because I have a Hayabusa. I have a ZX-10 too, and they won World Superbike forever, so... They should make a, just for you, James, a Tesla simulator. See how long you can play it without falling asleep. Just hit the car on auto drive and travel across the country. Oh yeah, I think 8th is probably going to be my finishing position unless I make up some ground in the straights here. Because, they are way out on me. Yeah, I'm 11 seconds out of the lead. I don't see it happening this one. Oh yeah. I gotta stop looking at... That's why it's hard to look at chat and race. I should have grabbed second there. Engine braking is such a huge part of road racing. It's crazy. No way. Terrible turn. That's the pack right there. I got a chance, I guess. It's going to have to be a hell of a lap. It's hard to pass them when they're in a line like that, though, because right now they're just following the dummy AI shit. Out of my way. Of course, gonna glue me to him. Come on, I want a podium. Be brave. Hey, whatever it takes to get a podium. Oh. Woo! Third place. Oh, man. That's funny. Rubbin's racing, that's always the excuse. I think 10 laps is a pretty good challenge for first place on that. You know, I just gotta not pause the game 800 times, talk about sims, spill water, clean up the rig, you know, all that fun stuff. So James, when are you gonna buy a sim? Woo! Alright, exit to main menu. I probably got time for one more race, one more good race, and then I'm probably going to call it for till my nighttime stream. So, like I said, that's 10:30 tonight, Eastern Standard Time, PM, 10:30 PM Eastern Standard Time. That's when I will be getting on again. Alright, let's do one more race. I don't want to try... I want something fun, but I also want to deviate a little bit. What do we got here? What is the Porsche? Group C is so fun. This could work. Oh, let's go Kawasaki green. There we go. This might be awful. But let's see what it's about. Let's go Sebring. How many miles is that? 3.6 miles. What was Watkins Glen? 3.3, so I probably got 10 laps in me. Cosman RO. Don't know what you're saying, sir. Screw it. Let's keep that there. Gotcha. All right. Oh, 5-speed H pattern. Perfect. Ah, from Romania. Gotcha. Gotcha. Oh my Lanta. I have yet to use these, so this could be interesting. This is what's great about AMS. Come on, this is... Whoa. You're making me dizzy, guys. Third gear is where we're starting, alright? This is ridiculous. Oh, this is ridiculous. I'm very curious as how braking is going to be. Oh yeah, there ain't no braking. This is insane. What did I just choose? I gotta drive these cars like they're diesel cars. These trucks like they're diesels. With no RPM. I'm like glued. What is happening here? Alright, so 3,000 RPM and 3,200 shift. Oh boy. Screw it. Alright, I gotta do something else. This is not gonna be my last race. Not a chance. That was an experiment. A failed one at that. Let's see. I don't know why I hate Road Atlanta. Let's end it at Monza. 10 laps at Monza with a vehicle that makes sense. I don't know if this makes sense, but it's what we're gonna do. Caterham 620R. I'm trying to do H pattern cars because I want to use the shifter. Paddles are only fun when you're in extremely, extremely fast, grippy race cars that need paddles. Can I put better tires on this car? Automatic by weather. Semi-slick, all-weather. Yeah, semi-slick. That's all I can do. All right, here we go. P26. Let's get a podium. Oh, my bad, my bad, my bad. First time. These cars are loose. God, that's all the way on the brakes. That's crazy. Whoa! I gotta... Man. This is definitely a get used to driving it experience, that's for sure. Well, I was going to try and split them, but no brakes, so... Oh, mother of God! Oh, come on. Where's my grip? Go, baby, go. Brakes. That's insane. You need so much braking zone. Oh no! Find your gear, bro. Let's brake at 250. Alright, 250 is not enough, so, or it's too much. So we'll do 200 next time. Oh, shit. My... Let's just get back to P26, what do you say? This is ridiculous! Good, I need a solo lap because this car is not it. Let's go 200. Alright, so we'll do 150 there next time. So first major braking zone's 200. Second major braking zone, 150. Let's try 75. Alright, we'll go 50 there next time. I could fall asleep driving this thing. See, because there's a... Well, let's try 150. That's probably a 150 zone, I would say. The problem is, it's not even just the braking zones. I can handle figuring out when to brake. This car has, like, no tip-in throttle ability. You give it even the littlest bit of throttle and it wants to break free on you. 150. Yeah, that's probably a 150. But like right here, I'm just skating. did I say last time? 150? Clearly not 150. Screw it. Let's just go for it. Let's catch back up. Alright. I can't do this car either, I'm sorry. It was 200, clearly. Alright. This is the last race of the day. Let's just do something we know works. And not experiment with different random vehicles. Let's go with the tried and true Sauber. And let's do Vallejo. However that's said. Alright, 10 laps. Here we go. 20 minutes. Means 2 minutes a lap. And I'll be able to shut it down at 2 o'clock. Those of you who are still here watching, please like the stream. I gotta start being annoying and reminding people of that. I hate having to do it, but such is the YouTube life, reminding people to do things they don't want to do. Come on now. Chop chop. Fastest SSD in the world. Still loads slow. Oh, what? I guess I am on the right hand of the car, so... Accident. Look at that. Wish I had that recorded. Too much. Double yellow flag. What's happening? That's not a yellow flag anymore. That was whatever. This game has weird implementations of yellow flags. I had a yellow flag the other day where I just did 5 laps after the yellow flag and you couldn't pass anybody. No idea why, so I just exited the race. I need the draft to catch the pack. Shaking big. Come on, catch the draft. There it is. On. Fifth place. These last few are going to be tough, man. I did not mean to grab first. Meant to grab third. I'll take it though. Can't be doing that. Can't be overshooting these turns. right, 3 laps to go. Can I get a podium? Those are the 3 guys right there. Not looking good. It is too far away. Shame. So I have to say that. Wonder how far off track I can go over here. How far out did they program this track? What is this game? Where am I right now? This is insane. I'm nowhere near the track anymore. What? That's got to be the end. There's no resolution of the textures. All right, yeah, there's an invisible wall there. How far out can I go? Alright, so that's another wall. That was at least not invisible anyway. That's insane that I'm this far away from the track. I cannot believe they rendered this far out. Like the geo, I mean, not the visuals. Want to do an airstrip event? Here we go. Oh. There is no way. I guess I can just go around it, right? What a game. Oh, these fences. This is crazy. Oh, this is crazy. Alright, we're done here. Is that tree growing out of the concrete? Cool. Oh, e-brake don't work. Oh my god, the pit's on the other side. Alright. Alright. Alright, folks. That is going to wrap this one up. Oh, 4 hours. That's the plan. 4 hours during the day, then a few hours at night. I'll be back on at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I will be putting up a scheduled stream, so you'll all be able to see it and click on it in advance. That being said, folks, thanks for being here. And for those of you guys overseas who had a good conversation about sim gear, let's do it again sometime. Follow for more. Like, subscribe, all that repetitive stuff you're supposed to say for everything on YouTube. Again, guys, thanks for being here, and I'll see you at 10:30 tonight. Take care.